Good evening. I'd like to call the village board meeting for the Village of Cary for August 19th, 2025 to order with roll call, please.
Collier.
Here.
Dudek.
Here.
McAlpine.
Here.
Persina.
Here.
Stefani.
Here.
Walrath.
Here.
Kaunik.
I'm here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll now move to the open forum where the public is given the opportunity to address the village board on any matter that is not on the current agenda. In the event that you have a comment, we'd like you to hold it to 3 minutes. Chris Reiki.
Chris Reiki, 446 Lloyd Street. As far as the 1% tax increase that you want to add January 1st, that is supposed to be for the infrastructure, the roads and stuff for the city of Cary. My question is, is that going to be for, can we physically get that?
Sorry, I was just making sure that the procedural was correct because it is on the agenda, but I want to make sure that I can answer you, so I can't answer you, so go ahead.
Okay. Can we physically get that in writing, that that's going to go strictly for the road infrastructure? Or is that going to be something, well, the money's in, but it's going to go?
I'll let our attorney answer that question for you.
It is in writing. It's in the state law that that's what we'll use it for. And it's in the ordinance itself. If you have seen a copy of the ordinance, if you haven't, we can show it to you.
Okay. So me or any of the residents in Cary can go look and see. So that $750,000 that it's going to generate will be 100% going towards the roads, along with
Infrastructure.
okay.
Could be a sidewalk, could be a curb, could be a piece of equipment that we need to maintain the roads or do something like that. It's going to just go towards the capital program that we have.
Okay. One other issue, I don't know whether it be in the bidding or how it happened, but I asked you several times last year about getting First Street repaved. Mm-hmm. And every time I asked you, you said it was going to happen this year. Mm-hmm. And it did not, and it will not.
Right, because this since we got a grant for that road work, it's controlled by IDOT, and we chose a bidder, and IDOT rejected the bidder. So we have to bid it out again. So the bids will go out early next year?
January.
January.
So
It's out of our control. IDOT controls the grant money, so when they reject a contractor, we have to abide by what they say. So we missed a year. Yeah, we're as disappointed as you are, believe me.
So it's one of those things where it may or maybe get done next year.
It's our hope that it will. We'll rebid it out again, and hopefully we'll award it to a contractor that IDOT will approve.
I mean, not taking into consideration there's 3 churches, the amount of schools on there. Doesn't the state, I mean, don't you bring that up with the state?
They don't. The state won't. They don't care about who utilizes the road. They are just there to facilitate the grant money. So they're going to tell us what contractor we can use. We handle all the bidding. We submit the bids to the state. The state will accept them or deny them.
Okay.
And if I might add, it's not that the state just said no to that bidder just because there are reasons why the state made that decision. there's procedural reasons, and I won't speak for IDOT, but it's not just a random, blanket, just just because. There are certain legal reasons and procedural reasons that they made that decision, so we do have to abide by that. Obviously, we could not utilize the federal funding and go forward 100% and pay for the project, but that is not something that we recommend, just being stewards of our finances.
Okay. One last thing. Dale, you posted on Cary Grove Chat that the branches, the brush cleanup, is like a spring and fall cleanup with, tree limbs facing out and stuff. It's not going to happen because there are full trees. I mean, the whole tree on the tree bank. So just so you know, that's not going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I was going to touch on that in a little bit, but we are going around and collecting what's being put on the roadsides right now. We'll do another collection starting next week as well. So not just branches? Yeah, we're taking anything that the homeowner is bringing to the curb.
All the storm damage.
Right, make sure you say not anything.
Yeah.
Don't want people putting mattresses out and things like that. So storm-related.
Storm-related brush, yes.
But I
all
mean,
of it.
they're full trees.
Yep, we're well aware of that.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to get into that in just a minute, so we'll fill you in on that. Martin? I can't read your last name.
Martin Kohlieber, 6728 Hawthorne Drive. I didn't see it on the agenda, but I think you kind of touched on it just now. As we were affected by the severe weather here over the weekend, and I just wanted to see if there was any what kind of response we should expect here from this fine body. Again, personally myself, my family and I were in a car driving down Cary Algonquin, and a tree fell on our car. And we're affected by that, and that the insurance isn't going to really help us out, and I'm not sure really what to do. I don't know if this is the correct forum to kind of address this, but I'm sure there are other people here who, maybe not here, but in the community who are also interested in the response. So I just wanted to maybe bring it up and see, just bring it to this body.
Sure. I'll have you contact Eric Morimoto. He's our village administrator. We can help you there. So from the sounds of your address, you're an unincorporated Cary?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you're looking for relief for your property and that type of thing, you'd probably have to go through the county or the township for like brush removal and that stuff. That's their jurisdiction. But were you in the accident that was on Cary Algonquin Road?
Yes.
Okay. We'll get you set up.
We don't have to hash it out right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, if
No.
you put me in contact with somebody, or I don't know if you guys are going to publish anything, or again, whatever you guys can do, I'm very appreciative of that.
No, if you take Eric's card, we'll get you set up. Yeah. Looks like Nick Prager.
Oh, my thing's on the agenda.
Okay. Randall Kohler.
Yes, sir. Y'all know me. I'm Randall Kohler, 352 Clare Lane. I've been here multiple times before, and I've been warning about storm chasers, about the fraud, home repair fraud. Guess what? What have you done about it? According to the Attorney General, we too often see scammers take advantage of the devastation caused by severe weather and use it as an opportunity to line their pockets. And that's exactly what they've already started to do. I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but I'm aware of it because I've been inundated, absolutely inundated. Now, some contractors are good, some are not. You can tell by their actions. But the biggest problem here is that consumers, especially in Cary, don't know how to go about and handle their business in dealing with claims. That's the big problem. Many of them are senior citizens. I talked to two of them today who have already signed an agreement. I told them that was not the right thing to do. The first thing they should do is go to their insurance company, file a claim, get the adjuster to give them an approved claim for an amount. Then, the key, and here's the key, ask for reputable roofers who are approved by the insurance company. That's it. It's simple. 1, 2, 3. Very simple. Who knows that in this community? Not very many people. So they're sitting there signing contracts that are going to get them in a lot of trouble down the line. But you know what? They think they're doing what's right. Oh, I'm getting this taken care of. Oh, I'm getting a free roof. Oh, I'm getting that. Well, you know what I got? I got it in the rear. That's what I got. What did you guys do about any of it? What did the police department do about any of it? Didn't do any of it. According to Kwame Raoul, who's the Attorney General, it is the local government's responsibility to enforce. These are the rules. These are what needs to be enforced, and they're not. What occurred was fraud. What occurred was forgery. You guys wash your hands. Oh, and then you wash your hands and you blame it on, oh, well, the state's attorney. Well, that's a bunch of junk. Right here, again, out of the Illinois Department of Attorney General's office, it says, if you think you've been defrauded by a contractor or have any questions, bring it to the attention of your state's attorney. Right here. I did. Brought it to your attention. Brought it to the police's attention. Brought it to the attention of every trustee here, and I offered every trustee here to call me because there's a lot to talk about here, because there's a lot that can be done. Oh, I talked to you guys, but all you wanted to do was sweep it under the rug, and that's what you've done.
I'm going to limit your comments now. We've had many meetings with you. I dialed you in with our state's attorney, and our state's attorney said you did not have a case, period.
He didn't look at the case.
He looked at the
You didn't present the case.
We emailed him all the information. We dialed him in. We spent hours and hours trying to rectify this for you. The state's attorney has the ultimate authority in this, and he said you do not have a case.
No, you know what he said? I was in the meeting, and let me speak on this because this is real interesting what he said. What he said was if we go after all of these storm chasers, we'd be inundated with claims. That's what he said in that meeting when we were in here. Okay. Eric was in that meeting, you were in that meeting, the chief was in that meeting. And that's what he said on the phone.
Right.
He'd be inundated, so they didn't want to go after it. That isn't exactly looking at it closely.
All right, Mr. Kohler, thank you very much for your comments. Is there anybody else here who would like to address the village board? Would you like to come up, state your name and address for the record?
Martha Ritter, 239 North School Street. I was just wondering, did all those people pounding on my door at all hours the last 3 days, do they have to have some kind of badge from the village? 'Cause
Yes.
none of them do. They're
Yes.
just, last night, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, same with us. We're
do you
trying
do?
to get them. Every time, I probably had 15 people come to my door, and I tell them, we're not going to talk until you have a license through our police department, period.
I was wondering if because the trucks are like lined up down School Street, they're just,
Yeah. We're going to
don't-
talk, we have a slide about this. We're going to be talking about it in just a
but they're
few
very
minutes.
forceful.
Yes, they are. Just buyer beware.
I'm,
Thank you.
I hear you.
thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to address the village board? We'll go ahead and close open forum at 6:14. It is my pleasure to welcome another police officer to the Village of Cary's fine police department. We have Adam Sweeney joining the force. Would you join me up front, please?
Come all the way around. Adam, come around. Yeah. We can take pictures for you. I'll take pictures.
Just a little bit about Officer Sweeney is he previously attended the William Rainey Harper College. He has an Associate's of Applied Science in Criminal Justice. That was in 2011. He was a corrections officer, and he attended the Basic Law Enforcement Police Academy in 2018. He has crisis intervention team training. He has breath alcohol testing training, and he's a juvenile officer. He was a police officer in the city of El Paso. And interestingly enough, he began his first day was August 7th, which was our National Night Out, so he attended National Night Out as well. And I think I would make sure that you introduce everyone here.
This is my girlfriend Heather, her son Dylan, my mom Anna, Mary Lynn, and Mark is my girlfriend's mom and dad, and then my father, Mike Sweeney. Thank you very much.
As always, we have a cake and coffee reception in our break room number 1 and number 2. There would be a shift of police officers here, except they're on a arrest right now, so they're working. I was corrected, 2 arrests.
Congratulations, welcome.
Okay, thank you. Now moving on, for the addition of my mayor's report, we have a storm update that I'd like to talk about a little bit. We had quite an event in the village of Cary that we really took us by surprise, but we handled it like champs, in my humble opinion. It could not have been done without the vigilant support of our administration, Eric Morimoto, Nick Radcliffe, helping us through this with the overseeing of our Public Works Department is Kaylin Noonan, and our Police Department Chief of Police, Pat Finland. We came quickly together, and our fire, Scott with our Fire Protection District. Oh, and then Brian, shoot. I apologize that, Brian. Really, I truly, truly apologize for that. But it was quite an event, and how we all came together so quickly and were able to get things taken care of in such a professional, streamlined fashion is truly remarkable. The storm hit us at 4 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock we had everything in place, what we were going to do, how we were going to work this out. We declared a state of emergency. It was all approved by our attorney. Scott was with us through the process as well. And it was something that really taught me a lesson on how lucky we are to have the staff that we have and the professionalism. And they came out, everybody was off on a Saturday night, and everybody came in from all their different activities, and we were able to nail this. And in addition to that, I'll get into some of the mutual aid that we had too, but from my perspective, as well as some of the trustees that walked around the town with us on Saturday nights and Sunday, the amount of support that the neighbors gave each other is truly overwhelming. It is unbelievable, the support. Neighbors helping neighbors, friends helping friends. It just was a remarkable show of support for our community, and that is what the Village of Cary is about. We are the best community. People were very thankful. I received many phone calls from fellow mayors. What could we do to help? How can we do this? And a lot of them stepped up. But we were very fortunate that we had no fatalities. We had no major structural damage. Nobody lost their residence. Lost a lot of trees. The community is going to look a little different from now on. But I'll tell you, I would much rather have it this way than have one life lost in a storm like this that came out of nowhere. It lasted maybe less than an hour, and the devastation that it left behind was truly remarkable. It was an unbelievable event. I happened to be right in the middle of it, outside, and it was crazy, absolutely crazy. But I truly owed, on behalf of our board, a debt of gratitude to Eric and his team, everybody that I've mentioned before. Outstanding job. We still have a lot of work to do. It's not over. This is going to last another couple of weeks before we get it all taken care of. But we have regular business to handle too, and you're doing it with dignity and grace. So I'm very thankful for that. So I'm going to turn it over to Administrator Morimoto, and we can kind of get started. Before we do that, one of the things that, can I do this?
Yeah, keep going.
Is this on my list? Mm-hmm. It is. Sorry. If I would follow my cheat sheet here. We belong to a group called IPW Man. It's an organization that we linked into with other municipalities that come to help and aid other communities that are in a crisis situation. And look at the number of people that came to our rescue. McHenry County, Algonquin Township, McHenry Township Road District, Village of Lake in the Hills. By the way, a Village of Lake in the Hills showed up without us even asking before we put out this IPW Man alert. They showed up and they were ready to work. The County of DuPage showed up. Village of Westchester, Village of Glenview, Village of Wakanda, Village of Lake Zurich, Village of Wheeling, Village of Lakemore, and Huntley all showed up to help us out. So when you see all these additional municipal vehicles and staff coming through our town, it tells us that we mean something to people, and we are truly, truly grateful for their help. It's an unselfish act of kindness and professionalism, and it shows that we are a community that people respect and that we are a community that people look up to and they want to help us out. So we were thrilled that we're able to accept this, and they will be here for the next couple of days helping us out. But a big shout out, huge shout out goes out to ComEd. We had at one particular time about 5,000 residents without power. That's out of about 7,000 residential units that we have in town. So that's quite substantial. They were able to get a majority of them up online within hours. They worked tirelessly. They brought in people from all over with our emergency declaration. They brought in people from all over the Midwest coming in to serve the Village of Cary. We relinquished Cary Lake at Rotary Park as a staging ground for all of the officials and the electric people that came in from everywhere. bringing in telephone poles and the crews and the lines and all the things that they need to do their job. It just worked out seamlessly, and that was all orchestrated by Eric Morimoto and setting that up. So we are truly grateful for that. So with that, I will turn it over to Eric Morimoto.
Thank you, Mayor. Like you mentioned, it was a fantastic team effort, and all of our first responders, fire district, hats off to you with all the response, public works, police, community development. It was truly a team effort. I noted here just this poster from the American Public Works Association. Their theme this year for Public Works Week was people, purpose, and presence. And it's kind of meant to kind of highlight the fact that these first responders are in the background with their infrastructure. But the last several days, Kalen and his team are definitely not in the background. They're in the forefront of what is going on in the recovery. And I personally, having been coming up from a public works background, appreciate all the efforts that you have done and continue to do. Kalen and a lot of his team were supposed to be at the National Public Works Conference. It's hosted in Chicago for the first time. So usually these mega conferences we don't get to attend those very often just because of the travel. And our team, the professionals that they are, they said, no, we're needed here. We're going to work. We know they're missing out on a huge opportunity to showcase their industry and do some additional learning, but they put their hearts to the people here in the community and are working hard. So again, thanks to you and the team for not just that sacrifice, but everything that you have been doing and will continue to do. As the Mayor mentioned, just a highlight of the event itself. This is from the National Weather Service. So what we had here was a very unusual straight line winds of over 70 miles per hour, accompanied by the large hail and heavy rainfall. That did result in downed tree lines, power lines. Several roads were impassable. A lot of collector roads are Three Oaks Road, which is a local jurisdiction, U.S. Route 14, state jurisdiction, Carragongquin Road, a county jurisdiction. So any and all roads that were important to our community, it was just widespread impact. 215,000 customers in the ComEd service area were affected. Like the Mayor mentioned, 5,000 here in Cary, which is about 74% of our total electrical customers. And then ComEd had 80% restored by that 9 p.m. on Sunday, 99% restored by the evening of Monday the 18th. And then as of this morning, we got word from ComEd that they were 100% restored from all those efforts. So they're going to be closing out and cleaning up the mobile command center they established at Cary Lake. And again, we were fortunate to have a spot to make that more convenient to expedite those repairs, not just in Cary, but throughout this corner of the county that was particularly hard hit compared to many of the other areas. And I turn over to Kalen.
As I mentioned earlier, we are going around with those other entities that have been helping us out to do the initial cleanup, try and get all the big items off of the right-of-way. So those crews have been going around since Saturday night and Sunday. They'll be doing that through the rest of the week. And then starting next Monday, August 25th, we'll be doing a special brush collection. That's for any storm-related tree damage. Residents can put their trees out to the parkway. We ask that they're out there by 6 a.m. with the cut ends towards the street so that they can go into the chipper truck, and they'll be doing that all of next week.
We also are working very closely with McHenry County Emergency Management. We did post today on our Facebook and did a special Cary News Weekly on a survey for all affected residents throughout McHenry County and, of course, the Village of Cary. So this survey is open until Friday, and we are encouraging residents to please fill it out. You could see in the bullet points there that you could report the damages in this voluntary action. The information will be collected and then hopefully submitted to the state in collaboration with all other counties throughout the state of Illinois to see if there's any financial aid or assistance through the state.
Do you want to mention the limit that we're trying to get to, the bottom?
Yep. So as a whole, throughout the whole state of Illinois, out of every county, the minimum to hit is $25 million in damage reported.
So when we say the $25 million, that is the total amount of estimated damage and impact due to this specific event. So in aggregate, if that occurs, then there would be some opportunities for federal aid of some sort. whether that's federal funding or low-interest loans for communities and property owners. Things like that could be unlocked if that threshold is met. So the more information that is obtained by the survey, the more chances we have of reaching that threshold and possibly unlocking those resources. So that's why it's voluntary. But again, if you have impact to your properties and you are able to take the survey, that will go a long way towards helping us see if we can help with other assistance.
Yeah, every little bit helps.
Is the survey, and I have not looked at it, so I'm kind of speaking a bit ignorantly here, but is the survey, are you looking for the homeowners to guesstimate what their damage is? How do you ascertain what the damage is? How are they supposed to do that?
Yep, so the direction that we received from McHenry County Emergency Management is any type of estimate will do. There's also options to attach photos. If you do take photos, you can attach them through the survey. So yes, we are requesting an estimate.
It's a very quick and easy, we went through it yesterday. It's very quick and easy to use. It's clean cut and maybe 5 minutes, if that. Well worth it.
How many different ways are you getting this out to the community?
Yep, so we posted on Facebook today around 3 or 4 p.m. We also put it on our website, and then we did a special Cary News Weekly.
Could we also contact maybe the Herald? Because there are some people that don't go on to, social media sites. Perhaps if the Herald would publish something like that might be helpful for some of our residents.
Yes, and this is a county-wide outreach because it's not just mostly Cary, in my opinion, but other communities were affected, and McHenry County has issued a press release to that effect.
McHenry County is the driving force behind this because the state looks at things through counties, not municipalities, through the counties. So they're sending it to they send out press releases and things. Actually, we got a couple of shout-outs on the news last night about this survey. So I think that the more people that fill this out, the better off we'll be to help us meet. You don't want to see any substantial amount of damage, but every little bit helps. If somebody says, "Well, I've only got a couple $1,000s worth of damage," it'll all add up. To meet that federal government level, we have to be at $25 million as a state.
Would it be appropriate to use Textcaster to at least notify
Yes.
about this?
Yes, there's a link that we'll put on there.
Yep, we will work on getting that out to the community tomorrow. Thank you
very much.
Brian.
And as the community begins to recover from the event, there's certain aspects that we have from the Community Development Department to remind residents of. For doing work on their property, some repair work would require permits through the community. Majority of the work or damage that we've seen is to roofs, siding, fascia of homes. Generally, that work does require a building permit. So the information here it shows what projects would require a building permit from our website. Also on the village's website, there is a link for permits. So if anybody's curious about the work that they're looking to perform or have done on their property, there's various information on the website. And then also with a lot of our over-the-counter permits, which include roofs, siding repairs, those can also be done now online through our website. So residents or contractors could apply for permits directly online without having to come into the village and submit the necessary paperwork to begin those repair works. So that's information. And if there's any questions that the community has regarding a specific property, we're happy to respond to an issue that they have. There are, from trees falling, there are service lines that were ripped off of homes for power lines. Certainly, we can assess a property or an issue there and determine what type of scope of work will be required as necessary for a property as well. So if there's general questions for the public, we encourage them to reach out to the Community Development Department and then have properly licensed contractors work on their property through the village. We would require any contractors, either roofers or siding type contractors, to be licensed by the Village of Cary to work within the community.
Can I ask a question about
Sure.
the licensing?
Yep.
So when they come in to apply for a license to work, what's checked of them to make sure they're legitimate?
They have to. There's certain information that they have to provide for registering, which includes a surety bond and whether they've had issues working within the community in the past. So if generally roofers are licensed through the state, they're not licensed by the municipality. But other contractors would be licensed through us, and there's basically documentation they need to provide to show their the financial backing from that standpoint, and then if we have had a history of issues with the contractor who may not allow them to attain a license for the community.
Roughly how many have asked for permits so far?
We've not received any permit requests since the storm event. We have had a number of contractors come in for solicitor permits through the police department, but there's been no new applications as of yet for storm repairs.
Thank you.
Just real quick, while we're doing this outreach, I will say that one thing that resonated with me with what Mr. Kohler said is that I think it is important that we, on our News Weekly, somehow explain to people to contact their insurance company first. Give them a couple of the steps that they need to do. Because if you haven't had something like this, it is overwhelming. And I can see how easily people get, brought in. Nice people are coming out knocking on your door. They want to help you. They want to do this. They want to get your business. And they don't know that the steps that they should take is that first one is to contact their insurance agent, file the claim, get some, referrals from their insurance agent, and go from there. That doesn't mean they can't have someone else do it and they can't pick what they want, but I just think that a lot of people are overwhelmed, especially if something has happened on their property, and they're just, the more we can do to communicate and educate and help people guide them through this process, I just think we can't over communicate this to them.
Thank you. Nick?
All right, we are also going to be getting this information out to the community for residents that might be on SNAP. There's information on the McHenry County EMA and also on the IDHS website for those residents that may have been without power for a long time. So there are steps and information regarding that on those websites.
I know that Mr. Kohler touched on solicitors, and the philosophy of the village and our ordinance is that the homeowner or the resident is the individual that allows a solicitor to either make contact with them or not. They make that decision, and they can prohibit solicitors from coming to their residence by posting a no solicitor sign at the main entrance of their property. You can get those no solicitor signs or decals at the police department. We have them free of charge. And if there's, every solicitor that comes to your residence needs a permit. The process for these solicitors is that they have to submit themselves to a criminal background investigation via fingerprint submission. So we've today, up to just before I came to the meeting, we had over 40 permits, solicitor permits, that have been submitted so far, and we anticipate many more beyond that. But I want to also make the differentiation here between the solicitor that will go to somebody's residence and a contractor that will be used to complete the work. So there's two different things. So the mere fact that someone has a solicitor's permit doesn't mean that they're qualified to conduct or to conduct any construction activity that would be related to what they're proposing. So that and our permits consist of a photograph of the permit holder, their name, the entity they're soliciting for, the expiration date of the permit, and generally our permits are issued for 30 days and they have to be renewed every 30 days. And then the Village of Cary logo. So they should have that on their person displayed when they come to somebody's door. If they don't have a no solicitor sign posted. If they have a no solicitor sign posted and someone comes to their door, then they should call us because that's a violation of the solicitor's ordinance. And then if they violate our solicitor's ordinance, I, through the ordinance, have the authority to revoke their permits if they violate our solicitor ordinance. So that would be the one thing that I would stress, is that if there's any violations, that they contact the police department and we'll come investigate those incidences.
All right, so on the screen here, you can see that we are requesting an extension for the declaration of emergency that was granted on Saturday of this past week. That was a preemptive measure to ensure that we have the authority to purchase anything over the 25,000 limit without coming back to the board. The extension itself is valid for 7 days, but with that, we're continuing to clean up throughout this week and the next week, and we are looking for the board to extend this to September 2nd.
Quick comment. The mayor has issued, as you know, a written declaration of emergency in the Village of Cary. There are findings in that declaration, the executive order that was signed under oath by the mayor. So the extension that you're being requested to approve now would be an extension of that executive order and the findings in that executive order and the authority set forth in the executive order. I think everybody has a copy of that order that you were provided at the beginning of tonight's meeting. So the motion would be to extend that, the executive order issued by Mayor Mark Koenig on August 16th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Collier,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Prusina,
Yes.
Stefani,
Yes.
Walworth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving forward to our regular part of the meeting, a consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items A through E as shown on the village's website and is displayed on the video monitor during the village board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Walworth,
Yes.
Prusina,
Yes.
Stefani,
Yes.
Dudek,
Yes.
Collier,
Yes.
McAlpine.
Yes.
Thank you. On to items for separate action. I will entertain a motion to approve a resolution entering into an incentive agreement with Cary Street Apartments LLC utilizing the Village of Cary's facade improvement and interior build-out grant program for the property located at 109 Cary Street.
So moved.
Second.
Director Simmons.
Thank you, Mayor and Village Board. The request before you this evening is related to the village's facade grant program. The property in question is located at 109 Cary Street. It's a multifamily rental property. As you can see in the image here, the property was originally developed as the Freeman Boarding House. The structure was built back in around 1910 and was utilized as a hotel for the community during the initial development of the community for when the railroad lines were constructed and gravel mines were operational in the area. The current property owner of the property has been discussing with staff the potential to perform an exterior enhancement to the property to kind of reestablish the exterior wraparound porch that was originally part of the home or the building. And there's looking to do a project on the exterior of the building along Cary Street and Spring Street to add that unenclosed porch back onto the property. As the board is aware, under the grant program, the village established the grant program specifically for businesses or new businesses within the TIF district and also outside of the TIF district for businesses that would produce sales tax to the community. Within the TIF district, the businesses that would retrofit existing spaces or potential facade improvements were not required to be sales tax producing as long as they're within the TIF area. However, the parameters for the program is highlighted in the slide that they should be granted only to the rehabilitation of commercial buildings or mixed-use buildings with first floor commercial space. Grants could not be utilized towards the renovation of residential buildings or common areas or individual residential units. Through discussions with the petitioner in this case, staff felt that it was unique of a project that just warranted additional discussion before the board to see if it was something that the village board would want to participate in this case, as all the improvements in this case would be exterior to the building. It would be restoring a historical element that was part of the building in the past. The proposed renovations would not be to the interior of any residential units within the building, or doing regular maintenance on the structure. Would be adding a new improvement to the property that currently does not exist as of today. So staff is bringing it forward just for discussion purposes. The developer, property owners here as well can provide more information on their vision for the project and why they're seeking potential grant assistance for this project. And then if it is something that the board would be supportive of, as mentioned in the staff report, there is some additional zoning relief that would be also required for the project, as the porch would encroach into the required setbacks along the property lines. So if it is something that the board wanted to participate in and the developer wanted to pursue that, there still would be another process to go through for the zoning entitlements related to the project. So with that, I'll invite Mr. Prager forward. He can provide some additional information on the background of the project and the idea that materialized for it, and why he's looking to do the improvement for this property. And then I'll be happy to answer any questions the board has after his presentation as well.
Could you please come up to the podium? If you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
Nick Prager, the owner of 109 Cary Street. That was a very good summation, so thank you. So I wrote a couple things, if you don't mind. I respectfully request the city supports this exterior renovation of 109 Cary Street. And this is an 1865 residence. This is one of the oldest properties in the city of Cary and one of the oldest surviving structures. And the project aims to repair and restore character-defining features, including the wraparound porch, the wood shingle awnings, as you see from some of the renderings, turned wood posts, historic trim, and returning the property's facade to its period-appropriate appearance based on the archival photos that we've got. And this grant investment is going to preserve this scarce 1860s resource from Cary's earliest railroad era and strengthen the downtown sense of place and catalyze adjacent reinvestment is what we hope, and aligns with the village planning goals to have a vibrant and authentic walkable core. And why this matters, I suppose, you know, personally, I'm hooked on these HGTV restoration shows. This is totally a vanity project for me. There's no financial incentive to this. Without insulting your intelligence on how you value a commercial property versus a residential home, comps are not an issue in a commercial property. All they care about is the rental income to evaluate the property. So that's why these commercial properties in most of this area is rental units. As you can tell, they get dilapidated because there's no financial incentive for an owner to do any of the renovations to keep the property looking nice and clean and refresh it. As long as the rent check's clear, they don't spend a dime. It's unfortunately the way it goes. But because this is built in 1865, the property is a rare survivor to the community's formative decade, and preservation of it keeps visible the story of Cary's origin and growth. It's located within a short walk to the metro station and downtown businesses. So the restored property is going to contribute to the daily look and feel of the downtown. As you know, this is at the corner of Corner and Spring. This is literally the first property where they close the streets for all the shopping and they put the park benches out there. So I could go on and on about why I think this is a valuable proposal, and I think it's something that the board should consider and approve because of how beautiful it is, and I'm hoping that there's going to be a daisy chain effect because, especially, not to pull on your heartstrings, but after all the devastation over the last weekend, anybody coming to you again with, this is starting to become upwards of an $80,000 renovation project. And the linchpin is if there's some cooperation between the board in this grant program, because otherwise there's zero incentive financially. But to me, I've got a couple investment properties in Cary. I've been a resident of Cary. I would like to see them start to spruce up what you've done to the downtown with the shopping district to some of those neighboring properties. And I don't mind sticking my neck out and being the first one to capitalize on this program. And the last thing I'll leave you with is the project's readiness and stewardship commitments. I'm in the trades. The funds are available upon grant being awarded, and we can mobilize immediately after permit approvals, of course. Qualified team of contractors with experience with 19th century wood construction and historic detailing. Consultants could be available if needed. And the maintenance plan to annually inspect and painting schedules and all of that stuff. And I would go as far as to say I reached out to the McHenry County, and they've already given me the green light on getting this historical status approved and placking the property, which I would like to maybe pursue at some point. But that's kind of putting the cart before the horse. We want to do all this remodeling first, because once it's labeled a historical property, it becomes a little difficult for permitting and getting any type of construction crew on site. But I'll leave you with that. I think that the property is as close as you could be to the downtown. It is in the downtown without it being, a business, right? And in the code and in this grant program, it says for commercial use. Now, that may not be what you intended when it was written for commercial, but this is a commercial property by definition, by the number of tenants. And I would urge you to consider, even if this is not within the scope you typically, write this program for, to beautify the downtown, and hopefully other people will, use this as an opportunity to improve their rental properties as well.
Thank you. Well said. I'll open up to a board discussion. I know that there's some trustees that would like to ask some questions and have some thoughts. Trustee
I'll start.
Dudek?
Brian, how much money is left in this fund?
Currently, with the new fiscal year started in May, we've only committed to $10,000 of grants for this year. So it's an annual recurrence for the board in a budgeting phase. So we still have $30,000 left to be earmarked for this fiscal year.
Has anyone approached on the idea?
We've had conversations with other businesses that have had interest, but have not specifically applied for the program. So there's no pending applications at this point.
Okay, I'm gonna sit back for right now.
When you talked about it's taxed a different way or assessed a different way, does that mean when you do these improvements, they don't reassess your property for property tax?
Absolutely not. They'll reassess it.
Okay.
But when I sell, again, without boring you on the details, when you sell a residential home, people say, what are the comps? Commercial real estate,
Yes.
there are no comps.
Okay.
This is of little import, especially to the value of the property. So if I have a rental unit and it's dilapidated, and I dump 20 grand at, fixing it up, and I go back to the bank, they're not gonna evaluate it higher. All they care about is how much money is it generating in rent, which is why you look around. I know a lot of the other landlords, and I know some of these other people just being in this community. This is why they let the place go to hell, because there's no financial incentive. Again, because this is somewhat of a passion project for me, I'm comfortable sticking my neck out on this in hopes that other people try to tap into this, fund and something that you've put in place for this exact reason. And I hope that even though it's somewhat on the right on the outskirts of what it was intended, I think the utility's there.
So I'll ask Brian. Brian, so when they he'll be reassessed eventually by the county on a property tax level, correct?
Yeah,
And it will increase in value because of the project.
It depends on how the county township assessor would assess the property, what improvements are incorporated into that. But the value of the property would certainly be dictated by the.
In the TIF district.
This is in the TIF district, yes. So it's currently producing TIF increment, for the property, has, 2 years of the TIF being in existence. It has produced TIF increment, and it will continue to do so for during the life of the TIF as well.
Thank you.
Trustee Dudek?
I was kind of waiting to hear everybody else.
Well, let's hear from you.
You called me, so I'll answer. First off, I respectfully disagree that the improvements you're talking about won't increase the value of the building. I think as a landlord, if you make improvements, even though they're cosmetic and to the outside, your building will look nicer. Longer term, you're going to be able to charge more rent. It's going to increase the value of the building. So I disagree with your statement there.
Correct.
I question, what exactly are you doing? Because I see a very pretty looking facade here. I see a U.S. Army barracks look here. So what are you doing?
Right now, because I'm waiting to retain an architect to actually do the drawings and put out all this money until we get, a decision tonight, hopefully. These are all art inspirational drawings. I have some that I favor in this packet more than others. I agree with you. The one, if you look, it's not exactly true to the architecture of the building.
Right.
It's more just to represent, it's the best I could find in my portfolio and on Google to kind of show you what I'm imagining. The one that you have printed that has the turned posts and the vines and all this, that's the truest and closest to the exact architecture of the property. And that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Yes. This is just to illustrate what the additional awning, deck, and repainting and repairing is gonna look like.
So then, where I stand on this is this. I'm in 100% support for getting you the money to fix up your building. I'm 100% against the fact that we're pulling it from a fund that's set for commercial. And I agree with you, another 100%, that the precious few historic buildings we have in this town that are residential, that kind of money should come from a residential historic preservation fund, which we don't have. So I would encourage the board to establish a historic preservation fund for purposes like yours. We would have to set up parameters, building age of such and such, and how much a maximum would be. And shame on us that we don't have that, which may be why some people don't put money into their historic buildings. So it's a little bit the cart before the horse. And I know you're here today. You'd like to probably start on this thing tomorrow, but I don't think this money should be coming from an area that we've got earmarked for commercial, because it's not a true commercial business. I get it, it's commercial, in some respects as you describe, but this really should be earmarked for a different purpose. Nonetheless, we should have something to be able to address folks like you that own historic buildings, and if we did, I'd be 100% in favor.
I would agree with you. However, as long as there is no plan in place to even, this is the first time this has even been brought up to the board, I would urge you to consider to make this the first project that drew this now attention that this is a missing piece of your puzzle, and maybe then we can attract other people in the community to utilize this newly created
I would agree.
program.
I would agree, and I'll defer to our village administrator and attorney on some of these more specific points. But I'm concerned about setting precedent. So once we do this, then we automatically open the door for other people to do the same thing. And I think your purpose is absolutely the right purpose. I just don't like the idea that we could be pulling funds. If there's another way we can get the gentleman the funds that doesn't come out of this particular chunk of money, I'd say let's go for it. But I just don't like the idea it's coming from something that's designated for business.
Just a follow-up question quickly.
Sure.
Since we had this grant program back, Brian, has it been fully used every single year since we've had it back?
This is the second year we've had
Okay.
it. So, quick question. Answer is no.
No.
Last year we gave out, I think there were 2 grants within the TIF, and there was 1 outside the TIF that we did. So we did spend the full dollar amount that was budgeted for.
And the excess goes back to?
The excess is just back. So
General.
the funds that come from the TIF remain in the TIF.
Yep.
Would just be utilized for future projects. The other funds are from the general fund, so it just was unspent funds. It goes back in the general fund.
Thank you.
Trustee McAlpine?
Well. I will say that I'm very apprehensive for the reasons that Trustee Judick mentioned about setting a precedence. This was really set up for commercial. It's not for, I don't, even though you're saying you're collecting rent and technically someone can look at a loophole for some of that, I do believe putting money back into the property, you're going to get the reinvestment. You're also going to get the tax deduction if it's a rental property. I mean, I'm certainly familiar with how all of that works. I love the idea. I absolutely love what you're doing. I'd love to see that happen. Someone needs to be the catalyst. Someone needs to start it going. It's just like anywhere you say, development starts, the neighbors start improving their property, you want to improve your property. I agree with all of that, but I have some hesitation on opening that up and having other people come in and try and say, you did it for, you did it here for Nick, you got to do it for for someone else.
Not to give you pushback, but isn't that the whole point of the program, is to get people to come back and utilize these funds? I mean, as Brian said, you've never used the full extent of this program. Now, if it became an issue where, hey, we're running out of funds here and we've got other businesses in the downtown who are trying to utilize this program, now we need to make some decisions. But until that's the case, I don't understand the fear that other people use a program you set up for them to use.
Well, it's not a fear that other people are going to use a program. It's a fear of setting a precedence. And that comes into play in all kinds of things, whether it's video gaming, whether it's this. We have to set parameters and say, here's where we're at, because if we don't, then we really don't have a program. If we're always going outside the bounds of what we've done, we don't really have a direct program for people to say, hey, here's what I can count on, here's what I'm looking for. So I said earlier, I said, someone convinced me. Don't get me wrong. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm not opposed to what you want to do. I had down on my notes, do you have historical, do you have the placking for historical? Because I think that's a huge type of thing to be able to come and say, here's a historical property that we're restoring.
Yeah.
But these pictures, concept 1, 2, yucky. We no like. I do not like the way that these look.
Do we have the other rendering up that I can, because I agree, can we turn the page? I know we've got other drawings.
Yeah, so the packet, what's in the slides here is not the full packet of information.
Okay,
so
no problem.
There is,
That's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, I like that. And when I say that, I mean, I have to be assured that when we tell someone, yes, how am I assured that you're going to do that, not this?
I obviously still got to go for permitting.
Right.
So I would even be willing to accept, hey, this is contingent on getting the permits approved, right? And that makes sense. Okay. I'm comfortable with that. I guess my only pushback is, who's the burden of making some kind of improvement in this community on and facilitating this? Because this appears to be a program completely, set up for commercial properties, which we have, to do these types of improvements to improve the walkability and have it look beautiful, like we had mentioned during the original, summation of this. We're not doing interior remodeling. I'm not doing the mechanicals in the basement. Right. This is something that's going to make the look and feel of the downtown more spectacular. That's why, and again, the lion's share of the costs, I'm going to incur those. Yeah. If there was a situation where you said, look, the funds are dried up, we've got tons of businesses that are chomping at the bit for this, and I can't make an exception at that time, that I could maybe accept. Right. But as long as nobody is in line, I don't see any other applications pouring in. A lot of the downtown has already been improved as far as the business section. This is an opportunity, and again, if the burden is on creating a new program, again, I think that should be a phase 2 discussion after today.
I know I appreciate where you're at, so I don't have any other questions. I will defer to the next trustee to ask you, shoot some questions at you. So thank you. I appreciate your honesty and your project. I do support the project.
I would also agree that I think the building could use some beautification. It is in a expanding part of the downtown area. Couple questions in no particular order. How many units in the building?
Right now, 7.
And what's your percentage of occupancy?
100% occupied.
Okay. If we were to greenlight this and everything were to transpire, would there be a plan? And this might be an unfair question. Would there be a plan to increase those rents?
It's always the plan, right? That's a landlord's job. So the idea is right now, and without getting into the dirty details on what I'm charging and the rents, it's below market because it does need some love, right? And this isn't exactly the reason for the project. This is something that when I saw that it was an old building and it was sitting on the market, it's because people hear old building, 1800s, no way, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. That to me is what I do. This is, again, a pet project for me. I've done this with my home. I've done this with other properties. I'm really into restoring old properties. It's just an obsession of mine. So the things that were scaring people away, this is, to me, I look at it and I start finding the old historic photos, and this excites me. The fact that I can justify the expense by maybe regaining it in 5 years or 8 years, whatever that may be, that's just gravy. I would have done this anyways, but I don't think I can justify pouring that kind of money and hemorrhaging with zero financial upside and without any support from the board to even the 17%. That's a big chunk of change. So without that I think this is dead in the water, and this is the challenge.
That is one of my questions was,
Yeah.
if you were not awarded the grant, you would not do it?
No, I would not do it.
Okay. Just a couple more questions, and then we'll move on. But construction timeline, what would you estimate the construction time being if you were to do this?
It's something like this. You're probably 2 months, and then another month and a half in permitting.
Okay.
If I had to estimate, 3 to 3.5 months.
Would you anticipate that would displace any of your residents in the building?
No, not at all.
All right. Has this plan been floated to any of the neighboring properties?
I explain the question.
There's other businesses and other residential homes immediately adjacent?
No.
Okay.
No, my lips are sealed. This is exclusively something that I've been obsessing about since we purchased the property. I wanted to get all my ducks in a row. I'm not here on day one when I just closed. Sure. But I've had this plan and was looking into the city's offering on the website since the day that we saw this on the market because of the age of the building, the location, and its historic nature.
Okay. I'm also trying to wrap my head around the timing of getting the ZPA involved. And if we greenlight this and then if there was a hiccup later, I don't know if there would be any roadblocks if the ZPA said, oh, you know what, we can't grant you these allowances on the property lines and where the deck would fall, going up to the sidewalk. It's not a specific question, just sort of a thought I'm having of a little bit down the road of the steps following whether or not we say yay or nay on this one. Thank you for all the information. Again, I totally agree that the building would look great with these beautifications. Mm-hmm. Certainly it is a slippery slope. Opening up that fund to a different thing, I've heard the justifications and the concerns.
Sure.
So one more and then.
Trustee Walworth.
Thank you. Couple of questions for staff. We've got staff here that have been around this area for quite a bit of time. Or is anyone on staff aware of historical grants, McHenry County Historical Society et al., any other type others that work in this area that we could potentially not only refer to, but maybe partner with?
I am not.
If the question is for me, I've
Oh, no, I was speaking directly with Brian, not to you. I'm sorry about that.
I'm in a line of vision here. I'm not aware of any specific grants that are available within the county for that type of
second
program.
on a.
I know for a fact they do not.
Yeah.
Okay, on a zoning option, is there any relief that can be obtained by potentially rezoning this lot into something other than what it was? Or if moving it into a type of zoning that would allow this would then disclude it from being a resident, available for rental properties?
That's a good question. So the zoning district that it's in now is the B1, our central business district. That district actually has some of the least restrictive setbacks. So the use as a multifamily building is permitted use within that district. Obviously, the home or the building's been operated in that fashion for several years. The proposed improvements, if the porch along Cary Avenue, the setback that's required along that right-of-way is actually 0 feet. So the porch along that right-of-way could go up to the sidewalk and be compliant with code. The issue is on the east side of the building along Spring Street, because the property is across the street from a single-family district. There's a home on the corner of Spring and Cary in the opposite corner that is zoned R2 single-family. So the way that the B1 district requirements are, it looks at the adjacent zoning classification, so it would be as restrictive as what's across the street. So it requires a 30-foot setback in this case. So the existing structure is non-conforming from a standpoint that it's already encroaching into that 30-foot setback. This porch would reduce that further, as mentioned in the staff report, from 18 feet as proposed down to 8 feet, based on the concepts that were here. So that would require additional relief through the zoning board process and back to the village board here as well to allow for that additional encroachment. But it would still be relatively in keeping with the character of the area. We have buildings that are set up closer to the property line. It's just that this property being adjacent to the R2 district across the street, it has additional restrictions put upon it that the property further to the east does not have. Further to the west, sorry.
Process question on the grant. Is it only pre-construction, or if he decides to go forward and then reapply at a different time, is there an opportunity for the funds to be awarded either during or post-construction?
The way that we've set up the program is that we need to be approved for the grant first, prior to any work commencing on the property, and then receiving the refund of the amounts after the project is completed and all expenses are paid. So the recipients are always responsible for the full payment of the work. And once that's all completed and there's waivers of lien that are recorded and provided the village, then we would provide our reimbursement for our share of that project as completed.
And you'd mentioned to Trustee Collier's question earlier about the increment already being produced. What is that amount that has been produced by this property in increment? And then if you extrapolate that over the remaining 29 or 30 years we have left in the TIF, what is the value that without this improvement, this property is going to generate an increment?
So far in the first 2 years of the TIF, this property has produced just under $8,000 in increment. Multiply 4,000 by 21 would be the rest of the time. So it would produce another $84,000 in increment based on current tax levels.
Okay. So as I'm getting slowly to my summary, as I walk that dog down the path, I have a couple of things. Number one, 100% behind the project. I like Cary fixing up Cary and Cary owning and Cary. That all makes sense, and I'm not going to reiterate all that, but Nick, I appreciate you doing this. What we have here, in my opinion, is a technicality question. It goes back to, and basically this is like all the stuff we talk about when I was on the ZPA before. That's what this is. We're looking for a variance here from what we have in our ordinance. That's what we've got. So I have a couple thoughts on that. Viewing it in that light, when somebody has a variance request for a fence height and whatever, there's usually a reason. We've approved fences above height. We've approved this and that, all for specific one-on-one reasons. So when we talk about precedent, we talk about slippery slopes, if we're taking these in the context of one at a time and considering them one at a time, then we very much should be considering this request. I don't know that there is more of a request that we shouldn't be considering than an 1850-something building in Cary, probably one of the originals, and what can we do to help? If the board's opinion is that we can't do anything to help, then that's the board's opinion. That's where we're at. But we should still, as an entity, as a staff, try to provide help, whether it's with the state of Illinois, whether it's the county, whether it's other organizations, to get this resident some opportunity to help himself with this project. That being said, if I've invested $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 to buy this property, and I know I need to upgrade it, and the project to upgrade it is $50,000 or $60,000, a 17% increase probably is not going to stop me in my business. I probably have to change what I'm going to do, or I have to alter the scope, or I have to move it into 2 separate periods. But to say, in my opinion, that I'm not going to do it if we don't get it, I would like to see the commitment of, I'm going to do it. This makes it way easier. I don't have to get a loan for the money because clearly you're going to have to pay the bills anyway. We're just going to send you a check afterwards. Yeah, right. So that will be there. So I would love to see the commitment of, not using it to say, I'm not going to do it if you guys don't approve it. I would love to see the commitment of, listen, I'm going to do it. I want us to do it together. Without casting out particular ideas on which way I'm going to vote. I think this is something that we should all really consider as part of Cary helping Cary. And I think this particular week, there's no better time to look at something like that.
There's one other thing, if you don't mind, just to drive, an exclamation point on this. B1 We're in a business district. There is no residential properties that are gonna be tapping into this. It is a unique situation, a unique property, historic nature. So again, I don't want everybody to be extremely cautious because this is what the program is intended for, is for people to actually utilize and improve the community. I will say that I would love to do it whether I have the support or not. I suppose I'm not looking to give you a reason why not, right? But I would really appreciate for you guys to be my partner on this program.
I think, I just want to jump in before either the mayor or anybody else has comments, because I haven't said it, and nobody else has said it yet. For your benefit, this is from our information. Per the grant program parameters, grants shall only be utilized towards the rehabilitation of commercial buildings or mixed-use buildings with first-floor commercial space. Grants may not be used towards the renovation of residential buildings, common areas, blah, blah, blah. That's the crux of the matter. So I don't disagree with you, Rick, Trustee Walrath, but we have a program that is not set up to do this. So I guess I would defer to village attorney to say, because you may have raised the avenue as to how to get it done, but how can we get this done? Because there's nobody here that says we don't want to do it. What we're saying is it's not set up that way. So I'll defer to you. Is there a way to?
Right. I mean, you have the authority. Let's say we're looking at an ordinance that you have in place that creates a policy of some kind. The board at any point in time can determine as to one issue, one matter, one circumstance, that you are treating that as an individual circumstance and you're waiving those requirements, whatever that might be. I'm not saying you have to do that here, but you do have that authority.
Okay, so if we were to want to do that, would it be your advice that we not amend the way this reads, but just call this an exception to the standard language?
You could do it that way. I'm reading the same language that you are, and I think you, depending on how you read this language, you potentially could find it fits this project. Again, depending on how you look at these terms, commercial buildings, mixed-use buildings with first-floor commercial space.
Well, he doesn't have first-floor commercial space, and he's got 7 apartments. He's got a residential building. So if the easiest way to do this is to go Rick Walrath's avenue and create an exception, why don't we just do that?
I tend to agree with that, because you're right. We're not going to be able to say that it meets this guideline. It doesn't.
Correct.
So it's a matter of making an exception. Just a quick question that popped in my head that no one had asked.
Sure.
Curiosity, when did you buy this property?
This last year, it's probably been mine for about 5 or 6 months.
Okay. And then, again, you don't owe us anything, but do you have the intention of keeping this property, or are you looking to do this and flip it?
No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna get the neighboring one too, if I can.
Okay.
So again, there's a lot of money that's gotta come into place, but, no, I'm gonna be a long hauler in this city for a while.
So reinvesting in our city, and we are committed to, the TIF is established. We have to consider why we established a TIF to begin with and what we're looking to do. My issue was getting over that it didn't meet the criteria. Again, I think we're trying to find a way to make it work. So I just want to make it clear that, again, this is an exception to what, the reason we have hesitation is because it doesn't meet what we have set out here. But if we can just do an exception, then I have a different opinion.
Okay, one last question, sorry. Brian, I hate to say this, but say we do say yes. How many other buildings that are like this can actually apply for this? And the only reason I ask is because he mentioned it. He's the one who said, I know other landlords in the area, other building owners. So if this gets approved, what does it actually then look like?
Yeah, so two things before I answer your question. I just want to say this is exactly the debate you're having here is exactly why staff wanted to bring it before the board here, because it doesn't fit the criteria exactly, but it's unique of enough project that I think it was warranted to have the conversation to determine, one, if you want to make an exception, or two, if we make the exception, do you want to amend the program for other properties as well? I think, and to get to your question, there are other multifamily buildings within the downtown area or within the TIF. Would they all have the ability to do an external enhancement like Mr. Breger's proposing here? Likely not. So the majority of the buildings that we have in the TIF area, you have just, either on Cary Street, there's some rental properties that are more historical homes that have been converted to apartments, but they already have the unenclosed porch on them. They have a feature that they're going to be putting back on the property. There might be some maintenance or repair that's necessary to those buildings, but is that something that the village wants to participate in just general maintenance or repair of a structure? I think in this case, you can make the argument that the improvement proposed to add that porch on is different than replacing the siding, painting the structure, just general upkeep that's required to own a property. But if somebody's looking to do a building addition or something that's going to enhance the value of the property, I think the board can look at that differently because it's going to have an impact on the TIF and what the potential revenue that project could generate, or restoring the historical character of the area as well.
So I apologize if I'm not understanding. So what is the number that
I can't
you
give you a
can't give me a
specific
number? Okay.
So if you're looking at the size of the TIF, how many properties are within the TIF, you have several properties that are in residential use as of today that may be rented or owner occupied that may have a commercial zoning district. So the B3R district along Route 14 is an example from
Yep.
First Street to East Main Street. Those properties are all could have residential uses in them, but may have certain upkeep or repairs that need to be done. But it's more, does the village want to participate in all those types of projects?
Yeah, I'm with
in
you.
In this case, I think it's different because they're doing an addition, which is why I brought it here. Other ones for just interior renovations, I don't think would be eligible for the program. But unless the board wanted to create a program for that, that's an option as well.
Got it. Thank you.
My turn.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Nick, I got to tell you, I love every part of this proposal, every single one.
Thank you.
I wholeheartedly support it. I'm in downtown every single day.
Thank you.
I can make an argument for the exception to this because it's a historical building in our historical downtown Cary. He's bringing it back to its original grandeur. No offense to you at all. Building needs some work.
I'm not
And
offended.
I love the fact that you want to invest in your own community. We spend a substantial amount of time and energy trying to draw people to our downtown, to the point where we have 100% occupancy in our commercial districts, in the central downtown district. This is only going to enhance that with the additional opportunities that will be available through new construction and things. That's only going to help. With your beautification of this building is something that we want. I think this is something that the board has wanted. And it's a $10,000 investment, according to Director Simmons, that already in the last 2 years has contributed $8,000 to our increment. So this is a really good investment when you look at the dollars that we're putting into this. He's going to totally change the look of that part of the town. And if you look at the cute little gray building, the house that's right next door, I don't know if it's a tenant or whatever, if they own it, they're really sprucing that up. They added a fence. They got landscaping. They're investing in our downtown district, and we like that.
That's what made Nick want to do it.
We want to be keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Well, yeah, keeping up with the Joneses. But I'm saying, the millions of dollars that we're spending downtown to beautify it, to attract it, to make people want to hang out. You look back at this historical building or the historical photo. I mean, what a cool concept that is, to bring something back to its original grandeur that we can partner in. In my opinion, my fellow board members, I think this is a no-brainer. And at some point, as our Attorney Euler would say, we have the authority at any time to adapt and change for a particular project. We've out of all these years, we've learned how to be nimble and how to pivot on things that really bring something. Have we had people ask about this? Yes, we have. We had businesses ask about it, but are they here before us bringing something that's unique and different, building onto a historical building that has been here since the 1800s? Yeah. I think this is something that is, I could support this all day long in an argument with whomever's going to come at us for doing this, because somebody will inevitably. But this is something that we can be proud of. This is a part of our community that we really want to start investing in. And it starts with us. You know, we have to put our money where our mouth is and say, look, this is something that he's not asking to re-side the building. He's not asking for a new roof. He's adding value to it. He's bringing it back. He's bringing back the porch. It will really change the look of when you're coming into that part of town. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I hope my fellow board members will approve it. And if it comes down to me being a tiebreaker, you have my full support.
Can I say you have my personal guarantee that it'll look so good that the people that don't support it will be like, man, I wish I would have. And you're going to be grateful that you would have participated in it. I can assure you that.
I appreciate your excitement. I think your youth and enthusiasm in being a resident of Cary, that speaks to your character. And you know, I believe you. And if we have to make it conditional that it's approved by the board architecturally to I would totally support that. But I believe that he would make it a decent project. So I'm done. Does anybody else have any questions or comments that they would like to?
I do.
Go ahead.
I still want to understand, is what you're asking for here properly worded? And I'm not sure it is.
I think that in my opinion, I think a rental building with multi-tenants is a commercial use. It is it's not like a single
here
family.
that would probably disagree and a banker that likewise disagrees.
Over 4 units is commercial. You have to
But
file
I think
everything
that the point we're missing here
It's a
is
technical word.
that's irrelevant. We can make an exception just like we do with variances on zoning.
Which is, I'm fine for, or fine to do. I just want to make sure that what is worded here, in your opinion, village attorney, is correct.
Is there a motion in the packet?
Well, but we're ultimately asked to approve something here, aren't we?
No, the motion says.
The spend.
Read the motion.
Yeah, what is the
Go
proposed?
back here, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should.
So the current motion for consider for approval resolution entering into incentive agreement with Cary Street Apartments LLC, utilizing the Village of Cary's facade improvement and interior build-out grant program for the property located at 109 Cary Street.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say that we're going to amend the way that we have it set up and make basically do a variance on it. Because it doesn't meet the terms of how we have it set up for the grant program.
Right.
That's all we want to make sure.
So if you want to add, in order to make this an individualized determination, Trustee Dudek? We can indicate, right, we can add to the motion.
Again, I
that
feel
as-
like
as an
I'm, the lone ranger here.
You're not the Lone Ranger.
I'm 100% in
No.
advance of this. I
But
just
if we
don't
want
like
to
the
make
way
it
it's
fit these
worded.
criteria, as an exception,
Yes.
based upon the presentation from the petitioner and the information provided the board finds that it will make an exception to the strict criteria of the grant program for this project and approve the $10,000 grant.
I'd be fine with that.
I would be too. But I feel like we need to have it in there.
Make a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion to amend it to.
make an exception?
Make an exception for the current verbiage in our, for the village attorney, that we're going to make that adjustment and make it an exception.
I second that.
So
Is that
with the
clear enough, Nick?
all right, so roll call for the
For the exception.
amended.
For the amended.
For the amended motion.
Dudek,
Yes.
Walrath,
Yes.
Persina, Collier,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Stefani.
Yes.
All right, so the new motion would be to make an exception to approve, to an incentive,
To the strict application of the criteria for the facade improvement grant program.
what he just said.
You're going on no sleep this
I am.
evening. We get it.
Did you know we had a village crisis? And I have no sleep, and I'm trying to put all this together. I apologize.
we have to do another motion on that, or just?
Yeah, now that, we're fine, this is the motion.
Okay, that's what's before us.
Would you repeat the motion, Scott?
Sure, so I think the language of the motion is fine.
To make an exception.
Provided the board approves an exception to the strict application of the grant criteria for the facade improvement and interior build-out grant program for this project.
That works.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
As soon as Nick's done scribing this. Sorry, Nick. Yeah, Nicole will get it all, yeah. Roll call, please.
So this is we're voting for it now, because we're doing it under
Correct.
the.
So we're doing the exception.
Stefani,
Of course, I'm first. Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Collier,
Yes.
Persino,
Yes.
Walworth,
Yes.
Dudek.
Yes.
There you go. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick.
See,
Thank
we
you
worked
so much.
together. We put this thing together. You know, we appreciate your enthusiasm. We appreciate you investing in our great community. I think we've witnessed through this past weekend that our community thrives on
You took the words
keeping
out of my
together.
mouth.
So thank you very much.
so much.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you, guys.
point of contact will be Director Simmons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, thank you, yeah.
Okay, administrator's report, Director Morimoto.
Director.
Oh, sorry.
I got demoted.
I told you.
Nothing
I told you
further.
when I'm getting ready for this meeting, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Nothing further tonight.
Department head, wait. Can we put that on the next agenda, please? Okay.
Before the board, you can see on the screen here, and for residents that are viewing here or online, we are promoting Cary Main Street Fest, which is taking place starting Friday, September 19th, going into Saturday and Sunday, of course, events and fun things to do throughout the whole weekend. But this wouldn't be possible without volunteers. We are currently very low on volunteers. We are requesting additional support, so if you can promote this information to your friends and your family, and if you as a board would like to sign up as well, we greatly encourage it.
Maybe I'll poll the board right now. How many people have signed up? Oh, excuses.
You're out of something.
Okay, just throwing it out there.
We will be sending out an email to all village staff and the village board as well, and then promoting it through Facebook.
Chief Finland.
Yes, sir. Just a thank you to everyone that assisted in our National Night Out. I want to ask for some consideration because I want to run down a list of everyone I want to make sure I thank, but if I miss somebody, I don't want them to be mad at me for that. But thanks to Melissa Victor, she's the president of our Citizen Police Academy Alumni Association, for her and all of the alumni from the Citizen Police Academy for their assistance. That would include Martha Ritter, as she's making some gestures over here. Sergeant Victor, he was our department coordinator. The helicopter Air Methods medevac, Palatine Police Department and their canine officer, McHenry County Sheriff's Office, especially the Public Works Department for both their display and for their assistance, Algonquin Township, Cary Fire Protection District, Boy Scout Troop 557, Cary Park District, CCOM, Miss Cary Grove, and either her court or associates. Is that either way is okay? So, and again, last but not least, of course, our department personnel that participated in making it a success.
It was a great night. Awesome, fun night. The fireworks were great.
May I ask a question? I don't know who can answer, but this was the most food trucks I've seen in anything we've done, and I heard nothing but positive comments in that area from other people. Who was in charge of arranging the food trucks?
Melissa
The
Victor.
Cary Police Academy Alumni Association had some contacts, and they made some contacts with the food truck vendors.
Please offer my special thanks and that input, because there wasn't a person in that area that wasn't amazed what the choices were. I think they did a wonderful job assembling the food truck area this year.
Yeah, and if I didn't say so, the Cary Park District, because they allowed us to have it at Caper Park, number one, and allow our, the food trucks to be parked in their parking lot.
Director Noonan.
Well, I have one more thing I
Okay.
want to talk about.
Okay.
You're trying to get away from me so fast today. But tomorrow, School District 26, the schools begin instruction. So just a reminder that the school day is defined as a day from 6:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit applies if school children are present and so close thereto that a potential hazard exists. So 6:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m., 20 miles an hour in our school districts. Be aware of all the pedestrians that might be walking tomorrow.
Thank you. Director Noonan, did you get any sleep?
I'm working on it. I'm going to go home and go to sleep after this. But I would be remiss without giving some kudos to the Public Works Department, the crews that are out there, the street department. Everybody sees them out there. But not only them, Saturday night, our water and sewer department was out there as well. We had every single well in our wastewater treatment plant was offline. So those guys were behind the scenes running to every well and lift station and the treatment plant, making sure that our water levels were up and the treatment plant was going to work through that process. They were here into the next morning, and I also want to say thank you to all of the different entities that showed up. It was Lake in the Hills before we even called. They were out here with the chipper truck saying, what do you need us to do? Crews are coming every day. Today we had our biggest turnout. Tomorrow we've got another one coming. It's just been overwhelming support from the different entities that have come to help out and not ask any questions. This morning we had a couple new crews. What I found funny and interesting is they came in and they're like, tell us where to go. And we created maps, and without me saying anything, they said, give us the worst spot. That's where we want to go. So they're ready to jump in with chainsaws and trucks and getting loaded up and hauled out. So really appreciate all of their help.
Thank you. And thank you to you. Your leadership is extraordinary, so we appreciate it. Director Simmons?
One brief update, just as the board's aware and the public's aware, the Seasons of Cary zoning process was continued originally to this Thursday for a public hearing. Due to the request of the petitioner, the zoning board continued that hearing to September 11th. So there will be no zoning board meeting this week. It'll be continued to the date of September 11th, just for information.
Thank you. Any future agenda items and discussion by the village board? None said. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 7:38. Thank you.